So this is the second of two videos in which I'm making this Lego figurine display case. So check out video A if you want to see the basic creation of what you see right here in my hand. But what I want to do with this is add in, let's just bring it up here. I want to add in, can I find it? Can I find it? Yes, I can. I want to bring in this 1980s Lego space logo, which is a blast back to my youth. And I want to have this laser engraved onto the back panel of the display case. So in other words, this back panel here, I want to have the logo behind the Lego figurine. I know this is not a Lego space person. This is a worker, I guess, they're pulled out of my old Lego kit at home. But there you go. That's what I'm going to add. Okay, so let's just bring this down. Let's see what I'm going to do with this. I've basically taken this off the internet and I've pasted it into paint.net. And what I want to do effectively is get rid of the space background and just keep the logo. So it's going to be lots of magic wand here and quite a bit of fiddling around, but we'll see what happens. So step number one, what I want to do here, what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to make it so that the white here is going to be engraved on the acrylic, and I'm going to have it so that the gold planet and the red spaceship and the kind of the rocket trail are going to be left clear. That's the idea. I don't know how it's going to look, but that's the plan that I have. Because effectively with laser engraving, what I'm looking for is either engraved or not, clear acrylic or kind of frosted with the engraving. You can have different depths of engraving, but yeah, I could do, couldn't I? We'll see. We'll see. Let's see what I can do here. So I think the first thing I'm going to do here is get the magic wand tool, and I'm going to click on the white background here, and I'm going to bring that to about 50% selection. So I'm happy with that. Okay, so I'm going to Control C to copy, and then what I'm going to do here, I think, is I'm going to paste this. Yeah, let's paste that to a new image. Okay, so that looks a wee bit strange. Okay, let's just zoom in on this. Let's just now get the magic wand tool. I'm going to select global fill, select the background. Then I'm going to invert selection. So now I've just got the white fill. And I'm going to get a brush. I'm going to make this brush really big. It's black, and I'm going to brush over this. So that's going to laser engrave here, basically the ship kind of outline and the planet outline. Now, is that fully representing the kind of the logo of Lego space? I'm not completely convinced by this. So let's come back to here and let's do a little bit more work on this. I'm going to come back to the magic wand tool. And what I'm going to do now, I think, is I'm going to get the add magic wand tool here. Rather than replace, I'm going to go to add, and I'm going to add in the planet. Oh my goodness, right. Can you see it's also got some planets and it's kind of shaking around? That's because I've still got on global fill. So let me just undo that selection. Let me make sure that I've got just continuous fill. And now I'm going to click on the other parts of the ship like so. Now I can see here that with the red, that it hasn't quite selected everything. There's some little elements missing. So can I bring my tolerance a little bit higher there and then just reselect some of these areas? There, I'm happy with that. So that really seems to have captured exactly what I want. Okay, Control C again. Now I'm going to come back to this design right here. I'm going to paste it again, but now I'm going to paste to a new layer. And what I've now got, oh, it says I've got to expand the canvas. Really? Are you sure about that? Okay, let's expand the canvas. What we should now see is that the two are perfectly overlapping. In fact, if with this layer 2 here, if I come to the little spanner here and change the transparency, the two should be perfectly overlapping, and they are. Look at that. That is so cool. That's a cool effect as well. Let's bring that to the side. That's wicked. I like that a lot. Okay, let's just cancel that and see what we're going to do right now. So what I want to do here then is I want to get rid of the white in this case, but keep the gold and the red. So let's get the magic wand tool again. Let's come back to just replace. I'm now going to select the white there, and it seems to be selecting the planet still. Let's bring back the tolerance there back to 50%. Yeah, that's what I want. Now I'm going to delete that. Okay, right. So now you can see that, yeah, I've got the red and the gold coming in here. And I could just leave that as the red and the gold, or I could bring in some grayscale values to really control the power of the beam on the laser cutter. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get the magic wand tool here. I'm going to select, and then let's come to add. I'm going to select that bit of gold here as well. And let's see if I can come to my color control here. Let's see. I'm going to go that as a kind of light gray bucket fill, like that. Okay, let's come back to the magic wand tool. Let's go to replace. I'm going to select this section of red, then add in this bit, this bit, this bit, and this bit. I did actually have the tolerance a bit high there, didn't I, to make sure that I selected all of those. Let's just do that again. And then now let's just see if I can come to the bucket fill. I'm going to get a darker gray. Let's see. That is a darker gray there. And then can I go over those? Okay, right. So there we go. That's looking nice. So I've still got this, however, as two separate layers. So I think what I now need to do, that looks good. There's a few little areas, if I zoom in on this, there's a few little areas where it's just not connecting, but I'm going to go with it. I think we're going to see what happens. Let me just now bring this down, just down to a layer. Now, what I should really do, what I would normally do here, I think, is I would save this first as a paint.net file. So I've got the layers separated and then I blend them together. But just for speed here, I'm going to blend those two layers together into one. I'm going to select everything. I'm going to copy it. And then now I'm going to come back to TechSoft 2D Design and I'm going to paste that graphic in here. So there it is. So yep, that looks great. There's definitely a strange thing happening here. I'm trying to work out why it is in this design that there's a margin here at the bottom. In fact, actually, Magic Wand tool, I'm going to select the background here. Make sure I get replace. Let's try that again, shall we? Replace. Select the background. The tolerance is quite high there. That's the reason why. Add in this. Add in this. Okay. Edit, invert selection. Image, crop to selection. Yeah, there's definitely something strange here. What's going on here? There must be some. Anyway, I'm not going to worry about it. Let's come back to TechSoft. Okay, so there it is. Let's now pick this up, and now I want to put this on the back panel, and I want it to be the right size. Now, when you're resizing things, don't resize using the horizontal or vertical panels because you see how everything gets distorted. Make sure you always use the corner ones. And the secret here again is, if I use it, I can still distort with the left mouse button. But if I right-click and I right-click again, it maintains the proportions of the image, and that is so useful. I'm going to bring it across here. I'm going to scale this in a little bit here. And now I'm just going to think to myself what size I want this to be. I want it to be quite big, but not completely kind of overpowering. And I like the fact here that if I come to step lock, I can snap this in to the grid here. I should be able to, like that and like that. Yeah, that's looking quite nice and kind of liking the way that looks. Now it wants to be the right size, so it's kind of behind the figurine's head. So am I going to bring it up to about there? I think that's the right place to have it. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I think, is I'm going to save this. I'm going to do a test cut on card. We're going to see how that looks, and then we're going to actually go ahead and do this in acrylic and see what we find. Okay, so I'll pause the video and I'll come back in a second. Okay, so job is done on the laser cutter, and let's have a see what we've got. Now, I went ahead and I laser engraved this as a card prototype just to see how the actual space logo came out. And I felt here as if the red and the black outline wasn't quite right. I feel as if I changed the gray color of the red ship and the rocket trail a little bit too dark there. But what really hit me here was the fact that I'd actually done the whole thing upside down, because if I think about it, I want to have that going behind the Lego figurine. But actually, if you remember, the box is then inverted because the bottom of the box is then open. And if I do that with the finger joint box, then suddenly the logo's upside down. So what I had to do was make sure that in 2D design, I took this design, I've turned on radial lock tool. I've right-clicked here on the radial lock tool and made it so it's only active during line drawing and marquee rotations. I've then rotated this through 90 degrees, and then I've brought this down so that it then snaps into the right place on the design. And the last thing I've done here as well is I always think that engravings, and here's what comes out of it. I always think that engravings look better when they are on the back of the acrylic. So I'm going to prove that right now. If I just peel this off, okay, so that's the engraving on the front of the acrylic, and if I turn it over, that's the engraving on the back. And I always think that looks nicer because then you've got this nice shiny edge here on the front face. So what I then did in 2D design is I took this and then I clicked on this little button here to mirror it. So if I let's see, can I select this? No. If I now kind of ungroup this and then take this design here, group that together, and then spin this around, that's what I get with this spaceship flying off to the left. This is how it's engraved. But then when I flip the acrylic over so the engraving's on the back, that's how it then looks once I've turned it over. So again, here, this is with the engraving on the front, and I flip it so you can see that that's with the light shining there, and I flip it, and the engraving's on the back. And I've got all my other little bits to my box here, which I've not removed the covers from. So I'm going to remove those quickly now. And here we go, folks. Hopefully now what I can do is start to put the box together. Now, obviously, I've got to glue this still. Being the smaller size box does make the whole finger joint process a little easier. I'd also make sure before I glued it that all of these acrylic windows are washed with soap and water and dried thoroughly. And there we go. That is my updated box with the Lego space logo in the background. Okay, so this one has been glued with dichloromethane, which we will have to demonstrate for you in class. And this is the one, obviously, that hasn't yet, but you can see how everything fits together perfectly. Okay, that is pretty awesome. I love it. So there's your challenge. Can you make a Lego figurine display box? And as an extension, can you add a really cool graphic to it that is then going to, I don't know, make it even more stylish? And of course, as a final extension, what we could also do here is put like a little name plaque or something here using some shiny dual laser engraved silver laminate plaque, the kind of thing that you find on a trophy. Okay, so that's the end. I hope that was useful. Have fun.